In this video, I'm going to talk about the while loop and its syntax and how it works, and then talk about why you might use it versus a for loop. So let's create the program here. Let's do a public class while demo 1, 2, 3, and class while demo, and then I'll create public static void main string args 3 method main. All right. So a while loop syntax is pretty simple. So it looks like this: while, and we're going to put a Boolean condition just like in a for loop that's either true or false. So while, and I'll just say num is less than 10, 2, 3, and while. You can always do that so you don't forget where that's at. Line things up. I'm going to print system.out.print line have a nice day. Okay. So looks like while the value of num, which we actually never defined yet, while the value of num is less than 10, while it's true, then I'll just continue this process. So let me make the value of num and give it a value so this thing can work. Int num equals, let's say 0. So 0 less than 10, that looks like a true statement, so this will run. So let's compile it, close this guy up, let's run it and see what happens. So it looks like I have a nice day, and I'm having a really nice day because it doesn't stop, which is probably a good thing. But there's no condition here where this will stop it, and so this is called an infinite loop. It just loops infinitely. So if you ever have something like this happen, something's wrong with the loop. So let's investigate what the problem is. Let me reset the Java machine. Go back in here. So we need to somehow change the value of num so it can actually become false. This statement can become false at some point. So I'll just do this. Num plus plus. So I'll increment the value of num. And while I'm at it, I'll just do this. Num is, I'll print the value of num out so I can actually see what's happening, which is a good debugging technique because when you have loops, sometimes you have some issues. So if you ever run into problems, I'd actually just print the value out so you can check it. All right, let's compile it. Let's close it, and then the window's probably here. Let's close that window up a little bit, and then let's run the program. There you go. So it starts at 0 and goes all the way through 9 as we expected. When it got to 10, 10 is not less than 10. 10 is equal to 10, so it's a false statement, and it didn't run the 10th time. You could always go in and change it to less than or equal to or whatnot, but in this case, that's how it works. So that's the basic structure of a while loop. You have some variable that you're tracking, you test it in the loop, and if it's true, you just do it in the loop. So when would you use this versus a for loop? A for loop is good when you have a determinate number of times you want to do something. Now, here you can kind of argue there is a determinate number of times. You know you start at 0, you know 10 is the ending point, so this probably could be a for loop. But imagine this were not num, it were key press, and this was the max y coordinate of the screen in a game or something like that, or an app on your phone. So if they're pressing a key, we don't know how many times they're going to press it left or right, and we don't know when they're going to get to the max y coordinate. Probably key press is greater than the max y coordinate. We don't know when they're going to get to that y coordinate, so they can press left and right, left and right. So this can run 5 times, 20 times, 30 times. We don't know. But when that key press does become greater than the max y coordinate off the screen, then we can maybe show an error or something like that. But so this is a more a better example of when you might use it because you don't know when this has occurred. Versus a for loop, you have a determined number of times you're going to process something, like in the original example that we had. So that's those are the bare bone basics of a while loop and why you might use it versus a for loop.